This is a walkthrough of the first time I made it through the Cluckin Bell Finale without being spotted, which is a Tier 3 challenge. In order to get to this point, you'll first need to do the last part of the setup, the disorganized crime, without being seen as well. So you'll need to hack the vans, get the driver's uniform, sabotage the trucks, take out all the guards, take out the camera, wipe the CCTV, without being seen, without alerting the cartel. If you do that, then instead of shooting your way into the factory for the finale, you just get loaded into a crate and deposited in the loading dock area. The first thing you want to do is make sure that the weapon you have equipped has a suppressor, so you don't alert anybody when you're shooting. This is the B weapon loadout, the one you get from the yacht. In this one, it has the assault SMG as a suppressed weapon. The A loadout has a pistol as a suppressed weapon. The C loadout has a shotgun. So you can choose whichever one you prefer. Key here is headshots as much as possible. Once you take out the 3 guards in the loading dock area, shoot the circuit box to open the shutter door. I stayed back a little bit because there's a guard who walks back and forth, and sometimes he's right outside that door as it opens. In this case, he's at the far end of the hallway and he's working his way up. You can see in the mini-map he's just about to clear the corner, and we want to take him out. So again, a headshot. A lot of the guards that you'll see here are just standing still, so they're pretty easy to spot and to take out. You will want to make sure that you take them out in sort of the order that you approach them. Otherwise, depending on which way they're facing, they could see a dead body if their cone is facing them. Those last 2 guys I took out in this locker room area, if I hadn't gotten them when I did, in a few seconds they would have gone into another room. I would just have to deal with them later. As it is, they're taken care of now. So the first part of the finale, you have to clear out 2 cocaine storage areas. That's what you need the key card that you got in the disorganized crime part of the setup for. So the first one here, you just head down the stairs. There are 3 people here, a guard and 2 technicians. You just take all of them out. And then once you do, there are 4 areas where cocaine is stacked up, and you just load those as quickly as you can into your duffel bag. Obviously this video is sped up a little bit. I'm not actually loading it that quickly. Once you get all 4 of those loaded, then you leave this storage area, go back out to the factory floor, and you head off to the right, past that, through the locker room area, and then this is another part of the factory. There's somebody going to be right across there. There would have been a guy to the left if I hadn't taken those 2 guys out when I did. And then that guy just came in and posted up. I backed up a little bit just to make sure I wasn't in his cone as he was turning the corner. Now here's the second coke storage area. There are 2 guards here, both at the far end of the room as you enter, one all the way on the left, one all the way on the right. So just take them out. If you had the A weapon loadout, that includes a crowbar. If you have the B or the C, you'll need to get a crowbar. There are crowbars on the pallets at the far end of the room. You just use those to pop the crates and find more cocaine to loot. There are 4 crates here. 2 of them have cocaine. You see the 2 that I happened to pick here were the ones with the cocaine. If I had opened the other 2, they would have been empty. So most of the time, I've found the cocaine in those 2 particular crates. So then you'll leave here. There are a couple more rooms you'll go through on your way to the office, which is the next part of the mission. We need to get to the office to get to the computer there. So again, just as we enter each room, we'll keep an eye out for guards. Actually, as I pass this table, I see on the mini-map that the keys have spawned there. Those are the keys I need to get into the office. If you don't have the keys, you can shoot open the office door, but if you do that, it will set off the alarms and you'll fail the task of not being spotted. So one more area to get through before we approach the office. Usually there's this guy at the far end on the left. So we take him out, and Then you can see the cone of the guy in the next room. So just make sure that we're staying away from his cone as we approach him. Now this guy walks back and forth in this area by the office. That guy is always posted up outside the office. So the first guy, you may come through and he might be in this far end by that rolling door and facing away from you, standing still. If not, you need to watch where he is because he may spot you as he's walking by. So now we're just hacking the office computer to load the hacking device that we stole from the Terror Byte in the second part of the setup. And that's going to help us figure out what the safe code is. So we get in the safe and steal the cash. This really is just a process of using the hacking device, going back and forth, usually multiple times, to the 4 different computer workstation areas until we get them in the right sequence and load all 3 parts of the safe code. Once we do that, it will tell us what the safe code is. And this is sped up a little bit just because there's quite a bit of going back and forth until you get to the 3 correct workstations in the right order. So once that happens, you'll get the safe code. There it is, 963465. You can memorize it, write it down. If you need to refer back to it, you can open that hacking device again and it'll tell you. But we'll need that to get into the safe. And the safe is, again, back in the office. So there is a prompt on the upper left-hand side of the screen that'll tell you how to enter the combination. It's the same as you would enter a combination for, say, a stash house or in the Cayo Perico basement when you have the bearer bonds as your primary loot. So once you get the safe code entered, you can get the cash. However, it will set off an alarm. So now police will be responding outside. Guards you'd think would be on alert, but as you're about to see, since we didn't alert anybody inside, the guards outside aren't really that alert either. They're kind of looking down, standing still, looking at their phones and so on. The key here is to stick close to the building, stay between that white truck and the building. That keeps us away from most of the guards who are posted outside. And then we stick close to this corner. There's one guard at the back of the truck. We'll take him out while he's on his phone. And then a guard by the second truck. These guards are usually in these same spots. When I managed to make it out of the factory without being seen, this is where these people are. One by the dumpster, and then 2 more, one standing by the garage where the getaway vehicle is, and then another one who's walking back and forth from the far end of the building up to the white truck where I'm standing right now. So just make sure we take the 2 of them out, and then we get into the getaway vehicle. The plan for getting away without being seen involves not driving on the streets where the police cars are outside the factory. Instead, we're going to drive on the train tracks that are right out behind the factory. So we're just going to go through this gap in the fence, get on the train tracks. Now there is a helicopter that's going to fly overhead. It doesn't see me, though I drive through its cone. But it's far enough away and there are buildings in its line of sight, so it doesn't actually see me. So we do see a flashing blue and red dot just off to the left of the tracks, and there's a cone where there's somebody there, and we'll need to deal with that person. You might be able to just run that person over, but they will see you before they do that. If you don't do it quickly enough, they could alert the other folks. Here I got out of the car just to make sure I had a good clean shot. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast approach. So you could try to shoot him from the vehicle as well. It's just not necessarily as clean a shot. This is sped up because I'm just driving along the railroad tracks. You will want to, as you approach bridges, especially this first bridge, make sure you're centered. If you hit one of the edges of the bridge, it could flip you over and into a canyon or into a river. So we'll just keep watching. Once the star level goes down to 3, You could, if you wanted to, request a personal vehicle, if you wanted to switch out vehicles. I saw here on the left there were squad cars to my left. Now there's one straight ahead of me. Instead of trying to go back and hopefully I could avoid the ones behind me, I just decided to drive over this hill and stay out of the cone of the squad car that was approaching me. The yellow line right now is behind me, but it's about to switch to in front of me because I'm about equal distance to the lockup, which is the ultimate destination. And as you'll see now, the wanted level is gone. The 3 stars are gone. So the squad cars are no longer pursuing me. They're no longer looking for me. They actually weren't pursuing me because they never actually spotted me. So now it's just a matter of driving the 2.5 miles or so back to Vincent's lockup. This video cuts out most of the driving, and here we are back at the lockup. You should, if you haven't seen your mini-map flashing red and blue, if you haven't seen your controller flashing red and blue, that's a pretty good sign that you've successfully completed this challenge and made it through without being spotted. To be absolutely sure, you'll want to keep an eye out for the notification that you completed this challenge, which is part of Tier 3 for the Cluckin Bell Farm Raid. And that's going to show up after you turn in the loot, after you get the cash, and you spawn back into a regular session. So we've got the money, we've got the RP, and now if we look in the lower left-hand part of the screen, that's when the notifications will pop up, and it'll tell us whether we've completed it. And there it is, Tier 3 completed, Cluckin Bell Farm Raid, complete scene of the crime without being spotted. So, there you go.